Welcome back into another episode of the Daft on Draft podcast. As always, it's James and Corey here, and we are here to break down this Week 11 slate of college football. And again, we're going to change it up a little bit. We've realized that just going through the slate and talking about matchups to watch is a little bit on the boring side. So we're going to go through the slate, and we're going to throw in two bold predictions each this week for the weekend. And we're going to start we'll pilot test this a little competition between keeping track of our bold predictions, and we'll see who has more by the end of the season. And then definitely start around next season as well to do that for a full season and come up with some sort of competition by the end of the year. But yeah, James, you ready to roll?
I'm ready to roll. It's going to be a great week. No Titans game. I'm spared finally, and I can just enjoy my Sunday.
That's how I was last week without the Browns, and then this week they're playing the Jets, who just traded
Ugh.
two of their best players. So we should be all right for 2 weeks running here in Cleveland area as well. But you never know, though. They could very easily blow that game, and then, yeah. So, again, as you're listening to this, Maction is already out of the question, and so is some Sun Belts and Conference USA stuff here, or American Athletic Conference. Sorry, not Conference USA. So not much to really even talk about there. And then Friday tonight, by the time you're listening to this episode, we actually have some decent Friday games, which is interesting. We've got Northwestern USC playing on the West Coast at 9 p.m. Eastern time, so 6 p.m. local time. We have Houston and UCF, a little Big 12 football there at 8 p.m. ET. And then Tulane Memphis, which could be a battle of potentially an at-large bid right there between, well, Tulane might be out of it now after getting walloped by UTSA last week. But for Memphis, they've still got a chance there at that at-large bid. So big stakes there, and it's a big game for Tulane there. Anything stand out from any of these games other than just like, hey, this looks like a fun college slate for a Friday night, plus we get to see Anto Saka, Makai Lemon, Jacoby Lamb, those kind of guys.
I'll definitely be tuning into Northwestern USC after we're done recording. Caleb Tiernan, Anthony Lucas. There's a lot of draftable guys on those two rosters. I don't know. Do you think Saka enters this class?
Man, he's just still all traits. Like there's nothing of substance in terms of how he uses his hands or in production. So that makes me think that he's got to go back for a fifth year. And I think he needs to transfer, but he's got to go somewhere where he can like refine a little bit. And again, a lot of stuff when we're talking about hand usage and refining, a lot of that stuff is off-season work. So maybe necessarily he doesn't have to go somewhere else, but maybe he needs to. I mean, David Bailey was a part-time player at Stanford, transferred to Texas Tech, is playing full-time, still
thinking,
not
yeah.
great against the run, but he's at least getting those reps on early downs this year, and he's turned into a really. I mean, everybody knows who David Bailey is now. Even though the run game stuff isn't great. It's kind of the same thing with Anto Saka. So, like, can he go somewhere where they'll play him on early downs as well and not just in situational pass rush opportunities? That might be something he needs to think about.
I think it's a situation where, like, if you get paid a shit ton of money to transfer to a school, like they'll put up a front that like you have to earn your job and everything, but like they're not going to pay David Bailey all this money to like sit out rundowns. Right. Like, no, get on the field, man.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. So I think that's what Saka needs to do here. In terms of those USC's got some fun pass rushers, two really good ones that are both underclassmen, but there is the Lucas kid here as well that should get some one-on-ones versus Tiernan in this game.
Yeah.
Although Lucas probably going back to school too, right?
Yeah, he had you get like pump faked early in the season when you don't know who the bad offensive lines are, like the truly bad ones. So I saw him against Michigan State. I'm like, oh, okay, good competition. Maybe he's turning a corner. But then I've watched every single pass rusher that faces Michigan State just run through their tackles. So
yeah, for sure. So we'll see how that goes in this matchup against Tiernan. So should have some one-on-ones there. All right, let's move into Saturday here. Again, the Saturday slate's pretty narrow. This is the week that a lot of SEC schools are either playing the cupcake FCS opponent or they're off.
Yeah.
And so, but we'll start with the big noon kickoff games here. Indiana, Penn State. This is another Mendoza versus on paper a solid defense. Again, they've been giving up quite a few points, so they haven't played up to the names that are on that roster defensively under Jim Knowles there. But this is a resume game for Fernando Mendoza, regardless. Heading into it, again on the road as well, heading into um, Happy Valley there. So we'll see if Mendoza can keep up the hot streak. Again, you get out early in this game, he's just going to start ripping RPOs again, just like he did last week. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I mean, by like by the second quarter, it's like 28-0, and then it's like, okay, now we go into burn the clock, and like
Yep.
people sometimes who like don't watch the games will like think they're trying to run up the score. They will legitimately have the backups in, and they'll just run the ball every play, and they get like 10 yards a pop with their second string. So it's like, yeah, just suffering from success. But yeah, I mean, we've talked about Mendoza. I just like it's not even really by any fault of his own. It's just I wish we could see more from him in terms of high leverage, high difficulty throws.
Yeah. They're just playing with massive leads, and I guess the Iowa game is the one game. And again, that Iowa, we'll talk about him a little bit because there's another high-profile quarterback playing Iowa this weekend as well. But that Iowa defense is really freaking good, and Iowa's
Yep.
ranked 20th in the nation, so they've bounced back a little bit this year with just even bare minimum quarterback play from Gronowski has got
Right.
them at least able to put some points on the board. The Iowa defense is really good, and they punched Fernando Mendoza in the mouth quite a bit. We saw a bad pick, but then we also saw him bounce back and throw again one of those Mendoza specials where it's like he's getting popped on the chin, but he throws that seam ball in a situation like that, and kind of goes back to the Cal tape of those throws that he's got in situations like that as well. So you're right. Again, as bad as the Indiana offensive line already is, right tackle Benson, who we already are like, this guy's not very good, is out in this game as well. So they're going to start Zen Mikowski, which is the Ohio State transfer who was not very good when he had to play for Ohio State last year.
Wasn't good when he played for Indiana last week.
Yeah. So, but again, the difference between Benson and Mikowski is like what? It's still probably pretty negligible. And they've overcompensated for that a while all year.
I'm actually interested. I would be interested to know like how bad could Indiana's offensive line be in pass pro before it would like start to really matter? Because
Yeah,
I mean, I've talked about this like multiple times. I'll go in and try to watch Carter Smith, and I'll get through 40 plays, and it's like, all right, well, he didn't do anything. So,
yep. Yeah.
okay.
It's all just until you get forced into like a second long or third and medium to long. It's like there aren't true dropbacks on tape.
And it's not. I mean, Indiana does like lean. They have fewer true dropbacks than like the average offense, but I mean that is pretty standard to varying degrees just throughout college football. I mean, I see so many times where like I'll be watching a tackle or an edge rusher, and it'll just be like I'm just flipping through like a bunch of nothing plays, and then we get to like a game-winning drive at the end of the game, and there's 8 true dropbacks because they got to try to march down the field, and so you get like 8 good looks. It's like, oh, finally. I think Iowa had one of those or something, so it was like 8 legitimate Jennings Dunker reps, which were, but
yeah. So we'll see how this one goes. Matchups to watch: Carter Smith versus denied Dennis Sutton. If that piques your interest at all, doesn't particularly. I mean, this is a game where Carter Smith should be able to jump set him. He's good to go because DDS doesn't necessarily work through chest really well, and a lot of his sacks are just effort plays, like 4 or 5 seconds in. So, I mean, if Indiana's not running any true dropbacks, I don't see DDS having much of an impact. I will say Amori Washington was a disruptor against the interior offensive line for Indiana. So if Zane Durant ever wants to have a game, this would probably be the time. But again, the Zane Durant tape is like firm back to school tape this year as well. So
yeah, man. I mean, when I watched Penn State, like I'm obviously not analyzing it from the standpoint of like let's figure out what's wrong with Penn State's defense. I don't care, but like it's blatant to me that the defensive tackle play like that's what I think has tanked their season if you want to put it on one thing, because every time I turn on a Penn State game, I mean the 54 who I don't think is a draft eligible prospect, and then 28 Zane Durant, they are getting driven
trapped
8 yards. Yeah, I mean Zane Durant is like the easiest player to trap of all time. So yeah, I've not been impressed at all with Zane Durant this year.
Yeah. All right. Georgia, Mississippi State.
Wait.
Okay.
Vega.
Oh, that's true.
We gotta talk
Vega,
about Vega
Ioane.
quickly, dude. So is he your number one guard, or do you have DeSantis?
I would say Vega probably. I mean, Vega's just a brick shit house, dude. You can't move him at all. like I did a Kenyatta Jackson film room this week because he had a pretty big game for Ohio State. But there were times he was gaming inside and he would try to work through the chest. And again, I don't think Kenyatta Jackson has a massive punch or a massive power profile or any means, but like you would expect somebody with Jackson's length and athletic traits to be able to like at least go through the chest a little bit. And even with like a game and where he's got some speed built up, he hits Vega not an inch of movement.
Yeah.
Not an inch of movement.
The tricky thing with Vega is that, especially because he missed the games and then Penn State has played such a weak schedule, he really only has, let's see, yeah, he has 4 games this year against Power 4 competition. So it's like a little bit small of a sample size. But I mean, if we get 4 more games like this, we can have to start having some conversations about Vega. What I just really want to see is like, so there were a couple reps against Washington where he lost the edge and like gave up a pressure. And then there's some other reps where his slide quickness looks a little bit more like NFL caliber. So I would like to see him, face more speed rushes and see what his foot speed is really like. I think like his long, like when he pulls, he can gear up and like actually kind of get rolling, but you see him lose leverage on reach block sometimes. So I think it's an explosiveness versus speed type of thing. But yeah, I love Vega.
One more here. We keep talking every time we talk about Illinois about like a pass rusher going against Illinois. It's like, well, this is a JC Davis game. This is their game. I'm kind of starting to feel the same way about Drew Shelton as well. Like especially watching Kenyatta Jackson. So like Michael Kamara, if you wanna start turning it up here, this is your week, buddy. So Drew Shelton has been very bad this year.
I was so glad when I found out like a couple weeks ago that he had eligibility left, so I could stop paying attention to him.
Yes, yeah, he's got one more year left. So, all right, Georgia, Mississippi State feels weird, but there's really not an NFL draft matchup to talk about with Georgia in this game, and that's just not because Mississippi State doesn't have like players to really pay that much attention to, but it's because like Georgia, outside of CJ Allen and Christian Miller and maybe Zachariah Branch, who I would bet is going back to school anyway, doesn't have anybody to really pay attention to.
Yeah.
It's
I haven't watched his tape, but I've seen cut ups. I like what I've seen from Kelly Jones, the Mississippi State corner. Can't verify his tape, but seems to be a traitsy guy. So I'll definitely get around to him at some point. And then Isaac Smith, the Mississippi State safety, we ended up shelving the helmet stickers, but he was going to be my helmet sticker. So shout out to him.
Yeah. A top 10 matchup here. We've got BYU, Texas Tech. Again, BYU's left tackle, I think, is probably like a PFA kind of player, maybe 7th round, like 6th, 7th round PFA player. Isaac Jada, he's athletic, but that's about it in terms of his tape. But he's going to have his hands full, obviously, with Romello Height and David Bailey here. And you have a hot take coming off the board, our bold prediction coming off the board for this game as well.
Yeah, so I was initially going to say that David Bailey and Romello Height each get 2 sacks. But then I looked and Romello Height hasn't had a 2-sack game all season. So probably not going to happen. So what I'm saying is that David Bailey and Romello Height combine for 3 PFF sacks. So like rounding up, you just get 1. And that's me knowing nothing about BYU's tackles, but just knowing Romello Height and David Bailey, I will bet on them.
Yeah, for sure. Against the BYU offensive line, yeah, that's a solid bet. Terrence Carter Jr. for Texas Tech offensively is probably the biggest name to watch offensively. Baron Morton has a chance to really stabilize his floor again, as like you can draft this guy as a solid NFL backup. Outside of that, the Texas Tech offense doesn't really have anybody. Chase Roberts is a helmet sticker I gave out 2 weeks ago. The wide receiver for BYU, your typical 24-year-old BYU player coming in late. He's like a class of 2019 kid. But Chase Roberts is a name to watch in this game as well. Jacob Rodriguez, the linebacker for Texas Tech, is just that's a player who's going to go day 3, but like you're going to get such a good player on day 3 in Jacob Rodriguez.
The forced fumbles, every week, like when first sit down, like I go through by each position. I see like who was productive this week, so I'm going on PFF every week. I pull it up, sort. Oh, Jacob Rodriguez again, top graded linebacker. Let me see. Oh, 2 forced fumbles. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I mean, I agree with your assessment though, where it's like the results are outstanding, but I don't know that he's just, there's like no juice really as an athlete.
No. But like those linebackers a lot of times find a way to still make an impact at the NFL level.
College teams, I think every college team should get one player that has unlimited eligibility.
That'd be just Jacob Rodriguez playing until he's 40.
Yeah,
that would be fun.
Set the
That's a really fun
NCAA record for forced fumbles.
Diego Pavia is leading Vanderbilt, and like he's breaking every passing record because he's playing quarterback at Vanderbilt until he's 50. That's funny. That'd be cool. Anything else from Texas Tech or BYU here? LJ Martin is expected to play in this game as well. I know he got hurt a week ago, 2 weeks ago. Expected to play versus Texas Tech. We're gonna find out if BYU's for real in this game for sure. So,
have you watched Howard Sampson, the BYU tackle?
No.
Okay. The only reason I ask, like, I don't know anybody that's watched him, but he has the highest athletic score in my system of any player. So, and so like whenever I sort, I just always see him at the top of the list, and I've always wondered if anybody's watched him. I think actually Clay asked me about him, and then like went and watched some of his tape and said it was not good. Like there's probably a reason nobody's talking about him.
Yeah. Howard Sampson. Well, PFF Premiums decided this is a good time to not work. So
they love doing that nowadays.
Yeah, I know. Oh, there we go. Yeah, Texas Tech. Interesting. Huh. I mean, North Texas, massive. North Carolina. Yeah. 6'8", 340. He is very massive. Have you watched him at all?
No.
Okay.
No, Clay told me he was awful. So.
Oh, there we go. All right. We can skip a few games here. Like, we don't need to talk about SMU, Boston College, or Colorado, West Virginia. Ohio State, Purdue. Do we really even need to talk about that game? Ohio State's a 30.5-point favorite. Like, what do we want to talk about?
It's gonna be another like 45 snaps of Arvell Reese just playing on sandbox mode.
Yep. They're not gonna have anybody who can block him.
Yeah.
No. So. Oh boy, yeah, this is what I'm talking about. The slate is a little on the narrow side. Ole Miss playing the Citadel. That poor team plays one SEC school every year. They're just like a sacrificial lamb. All right, let's talk about Texas A&M and Missouri, because Texas A&M has some offensive linemen. Missouri's got some defensive linemen, so I think that's a pretty decent game to talk about here. Again, for me, the headliner is Chase Bizantis along that offensive line, the left guard there. I was a decent fan of Chris McClellan when he was at Florida back in the day. I haven't really followed up a lot on Chris McClellan, the defensive tackle for Missouri, but that'll be a one-on-one to watch. And then Demarius Crownover and Trey Zune are both going to declare after this year. Trey Zune's a guard playing left tackle for them for sure. He's got like 30-inch arms. And then Crownover is an easy day 3 pick to PFA range probably, but they've got Zion Young and Damon Wilson here, so they're going to have their hands full.
Yeah, Crownover is like the epitome of an off-the-bus guy. Is just like
the tight end convert.
Yeah. Is he a tight end convert? Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I'm really interested in Keegan Trost, the guy that you suggested to me. I watched one game of him, but he was actually the next guy I was going to watch. So I'll be tuning into this for sure.
Yeah. So yeah, he's the right tackle from Missouri. He's well traveled. He went to like Morgan State to Indiana State to Wake Forest to Missouri. So he's been all over the place. But he's playing decent football. And again, he looks like another guy that's like a day 3 tackle, maybe guard convert, because I think he has sub 34-inch. I think he's like 32-inch arms. Because I was able to verify that. So he's like 32-inch arms, and he's like a 6th-year senior, but like, again, the NFL starred for offensive tackle, so he could be like a 6th, 7th offensive lineman in a room, depth piece wise, at the NFL level, I think. So, and he's got Cassius Howell a little bit here, probably. Cassius comes off the left side quite a bit, so left tackle more so than Howell or than Trost, but we could see. But if we want to talk about Caden Green and Cassius Howell, I think this should be another game that Cassius Howell has borderline 3 sacks as well. That would have been a fun bold prediction, but
Yeah, that's almost
Caden
not
Green's
even a
tape
bold
is rough.
prediction.
Yeah, Caden Green's tape is rough. Anything else? Will Lee, Kevin Coleman. That might be the other matchup to maybe keep a little bit of an eye on, but other than that,
So I'm interested to get your take on this. Cassius Howell, like I saw some people talking about it on Twitter. I think Marcus Mosher was like, listing people that had shorter arm, like Aiden Hutchinson, guys in like the 32-inch range, and like they were all successful. And I was thinking about it. It's because like I get the point that like him and other people were making, but I mean, I feel like Cassius Howell is it's different when you're at 30.5 inches and the shortest wingspan ever for an edge rusher.
It is. That's an outlier in the extreme.
Yeah.
It is. So
how much do you think, because like to me, when I see an edge rusher with really short arms like this, like obviously it would be better if you had long arms, but my mind immediately goes to the run game and like locking out blocks, because like that's where I think length you have to have it. And with Cassius Howell, like even if he had 31-inch arms or 32, like whatever, I would and I'm drafting him, I would sort of be just like assuming that he was just going to be a DPR for me. So like in that case, the main drawback of the lack of length doesn't even really come into play. It's important as a pass rusher, but like I don't know, if you're just using ghost moves all day, why do you need long arms?
Right. But then that goes to beg the question of how do you draft a guy like that?
Well,
still. In this class,
David Bailey. I mean, David Bailey's going to go.
Yeah.
Like 11, 12. I mocked him in 11 in the most recent mock that I just wrote.
Yeah. So when he goes to Indianapolis, do you think that sub 4.4 is out of the question
for David Bailey?
Yeah. 4.39's blazing.
Yeah.
Like Amari Barno was the edge rusher for Virginia Tech, who hit like 4.44, I think, a few years ago. I don't know about sub 4.4, but like he might hit like 4.42. Because his linear speed, his linear explosiveness is just rare.
Definitely the explosiveness. I'm trying to think back to like reps where he's like chasing someone down, because I can't exactly remember what I thought of his top speed, but I think that he's going to jump out the gym for sure.
Oh yeah. He won't be doing the 3 count.
Yeah. No.
Not gonna be doing the 3 count. But yeah, he's gonna run real fast. Anything else? Texas Tech or Texas A&M, Missouri here? I think we're probably good to move on to Oregon and Iowa. For me, this is, are you a man or are you a mouse game for Dante Moore? Like this is the game that will decide like, nah, go back to school, or yeah, this guy's gonna go top 10.
Yeah.
And those seem like really harsh, like pendulum swings. But for a guy who's a redshirt sophomore, I think you can have that kind of harsh of a pendulum swing for one outing, I think.
And it seems harsher than it actually is, because it seems like you're just having that opinion off of one game, but it's like when you look at the resume as a whole, and then you've got a bad game against the best team that you played, Indiana, and then the second best team that you played, Iowa. So it's like 2 bad games against the 2 worst. Like it's what we're talking about with the Utah tackles. Where they've got 12 games in the season, but you knock off the FCS teams in the group of 5, it's like there's really 3 or 4 key matchups. So I'm with you on that for sure.
Yeah, and like I think we have a barometer too, because we saw what Iowa did to Mendoza a little bit. Definitely Mendoza's worst game of the season was against Iowa. He did have that insane 30-yard hole shot against that was the Iowa game that again, the seam ball getting shot in the chin was another big time throw against the Iowa defense, who again is very good, very good. So we got to have a barometer to work off as well. As we say, if we say, Mendoza, a 4th-year player who he's probably going to declare, played like this, then we need to see more, probably elevate to that level as well. outside of talking about Dante Moore and again, this is the pendulum swing game for me, at least for Moore between, this guy's going to go early or this guy's going to go in 2027. What other kind of matchups in this game stick out to you? Max Ulan versus Harkey and World. Does that pique your interest at all?
I like
Be
Max for
Harkey.
sure.
Yeah. He's exclusively over the right tackle, right? Does he ever go?
I don't think I've seen him.
I don't think I have
No.
either. And again, Alex Harkey, that should be a matchup that Ulan should have a pretty big feast on as well.
Ulan, like, it's what I'm not making a comp here, but I can tell that he just has like studied Aiden Hutchinson's tape and copied his whole flow word for word, bar for bar. Like he literally just does the Aiden Hutchinson pass rush plan like step by step. Which I mean, Aiden Hutchinson probably has like the most, I think, detailed pass rushing plan in the NFL. So not a bad guy to emulate.
Yeah. Iowa defensive tackle Aaron Graves against Pregnon and the big center, who I am never going to try to pronounce his last name at this point in this juncture. Is another one to watch there. I still haven't checked out TJ Hall.
Yeah, I've only watched a couple games of him.
Yeah. But this will be a good test because the Oregon receivers can run. So, yeah.
The guard one race for me it's looking like it's just going to be whoever had the better game the last week, because I can't decide between Vega and Pregnon.
So you think Bazantis is out of that tier? Not quite in that tier?
I do, but I haven't watched the LSU game yet.
Okay.
But I mean, like I've watched 6 or 7.
Yeah. All right. Amari Washington against Logan Jones and Cade Piper and Bo Stevens is one to watch on the other side of the ball. Mateo Uyunglele, Tatum Tuioti against Jennings Dunker. If we still want to talk about Jennings Dunker a little bit, if we have to. But I think that's probably it there.
Yeah, I mean, Dylan Thieneman.
Yeah,
he had a solid game a couple weeks ago.
He's turned it on. So like he was really rough early in the season. I think that that Penn State overtime interception shattered a glass box around him. To where it's like, oh, we're good. I'm back. I don't know. It kind of felt like that because he's been playing really well since then. They've got 2 freshman DBs, and the safety Flowers, who's a true freshman, I think is he might be the best defensive back in that secondary. He's rangy as hell. But let's move on to, we can skip Syracuse, Miami, I think. I do want to bring up Duke and UConn because I have a bold prediction for this game. I've got a bold prediction for Duke UConn of all things. So I've talked about UConn wide receiver Skylar Bell quite a bit on this podcast. He's almost at 1,000-yard receiving. I think he's not going to be because he plays at UConn. He should be in the conversation for the Blitnikoff because the production is extraordinary. How that offense depends on him is key as well. UConn has played 2 Power 4 opponents, Boston College, Syracuse. Should have beat Syracuse, did beat Boston College. Pretty close to 2-0 in those games. In both of his games against P4 opponents, he had 10 catches and over 100 yards. My bold prediction, and again, this is against Chandler Rivers, who's probably going to slide inside and probably D him up a little bit in this game more often. My bold prediction here is that Skylar Bell, for the 3rd time in 3 games against P4 opponents, will go for 10 catches and 100 yards.
I think it's going to happen.
So
if we were doing Daft or Draft, I would draft that.
Yeah. So that's my bold prediction. I love Skylar Bell. Again, he's a slot only. I'm not going to I'm not fooling myself to think no, this guy can actually play Z. I don't think the athletic ceiling is there to really win on the outside. But my God, is he dependable? He is just dependable. He's a crisp route runner. He knows how to separate, knows how to hunt green grass. He knows how to give his target, give the quarterback a target. And then his contested catch stuff is phenomenal as well for his frame. So, really big fan of Skylar Bell. I would probably draft this guy fringe top 100, comp pick range into early round 4 is how much I like Skylar Bell. Let's move on to Auburn, Vanderbilt. Corday Sinor versus Xavier Chaplin. We've talked about Xavier Chaplin yesterday briefly about how he's probably needs to go back to school. The tape's been that brutal. Eli Stowers has kind of turned it on a little bit. He's got a lot of really bad drops on his tape this year, though. A lot of really bad drops. But Stowers has a chance to continue to stack some games here as well. That's the extent of my conversation for this game. Auburn is in such a bad place right now.
I guess the only thing I would say is like at some point Keldrick Folk has got to like do something, man. Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
that's all I can really say.
Yeah. Again, the parallels to me are so much like Greg Rousseau coming out of Miami, where it's like I didn't feel like he did anything production wise at Miami. Like I didn't see anything on tape that was like exceptional. He fell away to the end of the first round after being mocked as a top 5 player throughout most of the cycle, at least early through summer scouting. And then he did develop in Buffalo, but like if he didn't fall to like into Buffalo, like I don't think that's a player that develops at anywhere he goes or takes a leap anywhere he goes. You know.
I definitely agree with that because when I've charted the NFL edge rushers, I just continually am amazed at how many empty calories there are on Greg Rousseau's tape. Like, consistently leads the league in percentage of pressures that are unblocked, and then by far, like the only move he uses is just an inside counter. So yeah, like when you said that, it's like I think if he just went somewhere and like they were just all right, like line up, go cook, I feel like he would be out of the league potentially. Like not out of the league because he's good in run defense, but I don't know. I've always been very underwhelmed by his pass rushing skill set.
Yeah. Again, he's only 19 too, so like I think Keldrick Falk would really benefit from going back to school as well. And if he's going back to school, he's probably transferring from Auburn. So we'll see what happens with Falk. But again, I was kind of underwhelmed in summer scouting, and that's like documented throughout podcast episodes and articles, and I just haven't seen the leap. I haven't seen the leap this year, which I haven't seen a leap from anybody at Auburn this year. So I think that might be a little bit of an incubation issue as well. There at the university. All right.
It sucks because like preseason, I wasn't like didn't think they were like gonna win anything, but I remember thinking they at least have a really nice collection of talent. Like it's a talented roster on paper. So, yeah.
It was Baylor, but like they kind of throttled Baylor
to
start the season too. Yeah. So yeah, interesting. Cal Louisville. We'll get a little Chris Bell versus Hezekiah Massey's and Brent Austin here. So should be a good game there. Again, I'm just really intrigued by Bell's skill set. I respect Mike Renner, but Mike Renner released his big board top 100 and he had Chris Bell at 72. And my brain sparked a little bit. So Mike, if you're listening, don't take offense to that. But like, I just think Chris Bell is such a like nuanced player. Like he can run quick route, like sharp routes on deep comebacks. He can take a shallow cross to the house. Like you can give him manufactured touches, and then he can beat you over the top on deep posts and 9 balls. Like to me, the skill set's so versatile, in a dense, again, 227-pound frame. So yeah, I'm all aboard the Chris Bell train. So, but that's about it from Louisville perspective and from a Cal perspective.
Clev Lubin.
Oh, Clev Lubin is a decent football player. Like I come away really impressed with the quality of his pressures. Do you feel the same way when you watch him? Like I even thought he got Moino a couple times in the Miami game.
Yeah. The quality of his pressures for sure. I have some concerns about the frame.
Oh yeah, he's a DPR. I think he's definitely like a sawed-off DPR at the next level for sure. He was also a running back recruit. Did you know that? Like Army offered him at running back. He had running back offers out of high school too.
He's 6'3", 250.
A big boy, big running back.
Would he be the biggest player on Army's roster?
Probably. Florida State, Clemson. Avion Terrell versus Deuce Robinson. Dude, Cade Klubnik's box scores are looking a lot better. Cade Klubnik's tape is still not looking great. I watched the Duke game when I was charting him, and like so many throws into coverage, like into the lap of coverage. It's like, dude, what's going on? So the club, I don't think the Klubnik train is able to come back on the rails. No. Which begs the question is like, now I feel that the conversation is, I mean, Quinn Ewers got drafted. Okay, he's going to get drafted. Quinn Ewers got drafted. But Quinn Ewers went 7th round. How far? Like, what round is Klubnik going to get drafted in?
Yeah, see, the thing about Quinn Ewers is like
Ewers also
and
didn't have any athleticism in his profile as well.
yeah, I don't want to be like rude, but he just doesn't have any redeeming qualities as an NFL draft prospect.
Mm-mm.
It's like it's one of the most lopsided scouting reports I've ever written because basically what I did is I took every like critical factor of playing quarterback and then said he was bad at it.
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily feel that way about Klubnik, even though I don't think he's an NFL starter. But
Bare minimum, he's an athlete.
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like who's better, Jacoby Brissett or like another backup? I don't know. It's kind of it's not a worthwhile comparison to
So
me.
I think he's better than like the 5th round quarterbacks we've seen get taken over the years, right? Like he's better than Dorian
Klubnik?
Thompson Robinson. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's better than Dorian Thompson Robinson. He's better than Jake Hayner. He's better than like those quarterbacks that have gone 5th round over the past few years. So 5th round feels kind of right to me. 4th, 5th round. Yeah. Anybody else here from Florida State, Clemson? Again, Daryl Jackson's had a pretty bad year. Yeah, again, another first team off the bus kind of guy, but I don't buy much into him. Obviously, Blake Miller. You can talk about Blake Miller a little bit here as well.
Well, he better not have a bad game after I
Yeah,
planted
you
my
went all
flag.
in. Yeah. Okay, the big one of the weekend, and maybe it isn't even that big anymore because LSU has fired their coach and aren't even ranked at this point. Alabama is a 9.5-point favorite over LSU in this rivalry game. I'll go ahead and spit out my second bold take here as well. You have a bold take in this. We both have bold takes in this one. So I think there are still so many redeeming qualities between Dante Moore, Ty Simpson, Fernando Mendoza in this quarterback class. Like I am still on the camp that like this is not a bad quarterback class. This is the pendulum swing weekend for Moore. Simpson, I think, is going to declare. I mean, I guess he could go back to school too. But my second bold take, now that we've talked about all three of these quarterbacks, or bold prediction is that all three of these quarterbacks will throw for 250 plus and two touchdowns plus this weekend.
I think to me the thing that would ruin that would be like Indiana game script, and just the game getting out of hand. But I don't know that. Well, I don't know. Penn State they've just performed way worse than you would think they are on paper. So it's like what I was gonna say is I don't think Penn State's the type of team that they would blow out 63-10, but I think they actually are. So yeah, we'll see.
I need these three guys to put the stamp in the book that they are the precise brainiacs that I have been claiming that they are for 10 weeks. I need a statement week from all three of them. So that's my bold prediction. They give us a statement week.
Well, I hope it happens for sure.
I do too.
My bold take kind of goes counter to that. AJ Halsey intercepts Ty Simpson on an in-breaker.
AJ Halsey has two interceptions on bait throws over the middle.
I can just see it happening, like midfield.
You got Marcel Reed and you got DJ Lagway both over the middle on in breakers.
Because I mean, like what always happens is that quarterbacks are able to it's the first 10 games of that you're playing in a new league or whatever. That's the easiest it's going to be for you to like throw your favorite throw. If it's the backside dig or whatever. When teams don't have tape on you, like you can just kind of rip that in there, and then once the linebackers start watching you and they see that you're going to the backside dig every play, then they're going to start robbing it. And I mean that's kind of what happened with Garrett Nussmeier. But yeah, I mean I don't know. Ty Simpson hasn't had issue. That take is not doesn't really have anything to do with Ty Simpson. It's just I could see him ripping one and didn't see AJ Halsey.
Yep, I mean that's AJ Halsey's MO. So is dropping in a robber look and baiting. So yeah, I mean, so the ideal situation for both of us here is that Ty Simpson throws for 252 and 1 to AJ Halsey. Yeah, so there we go. There we go. We'll see if Jekyll or Hyde shows up for Caden Proctor this week. LSU's got some strong pass rushers. Like I even think that like Jack Pyborn, the Florida transfer, has put together like some pretty decent tape. Like
I watched him earlier in the season and was kind of impressed by him.
Yeah. So, Mansour Delane can have his handful as well with Ryan Williams, Jeremy Bernard and company, Isaiah Horton and company there, the Alabama trio. So,
Is
um,
what do you think? I mean, we'll get into it, but what do you think about Ryan Williams and the drops? I mean, it's like I don't know.
so this is going to be people are going to Ryan Williams is going to be the most contentious summer scouting player this next summer. Like I already know it because there's going to be Bama dudes who are like, this guy's in the same tier as Jeremiah Smith. When I watch him, I see him constantly get rerouted, get shoved into the sideline, and drop passes like crazy. There's no doubting the dynamics, like how dynamic of an athlete he is and how clean of a route runner he is. But that dude cannot play through contact, and that guy drops a lot of passes.
Yeah, I like sometime in the summer, just on a whim, I was like, all right, I want to watch the big three freshman receivers.
He's not in the same tier as Coleman and
Right,
Smith.
and like, yeah, I tweeted like a cut up of Cam Coleman, and I was like, I think people are putting the wrong Alabama wide receiver into Jeremiah Smith conversations, and Bama fans said I was clickbaiting. But no, I would stand by that.
Yeah, I agree.
But I
very
will
much so agree.
say I think that Jeremiah Smith has like
Oh, he's on a plane of his own.
zoomed past. Because I felt like last year, and it wasn't even something that I would say is like a criticism because he's a freshman, but it's like, okay, there you see where like he has room to improve as a route runner and stuff. But yeah, he's doing, him and Carnell Tate are just like, they're doing stuff that couldn't even fathom them doing last year.
I still like, this has been like something that's been in the back of my mind since last summer or last spring, is like, I think that there is a chance Jeremiah Smith files a lawsuit and tries to declare this year. Like we've seen the Pavia lawsuit. We've seen a lot of funky lawsuits get approved throughout the college football landscape change. I think that we could see like some sort of underclassman declaration floodgate. Like all it takes is one blue chip prospect to file a lawsuit and say, I don't need to play another year of college football. So either I'm going to sit out and I'm not going to get hurt, which I don't even think Jeremiah Smith would really sit out, or you're going to let me go pro. And like, if there's one player that could do it this year, it's Jeremiah Smith. There's one player that could do it in the last 10 years. It's Jeremiah Smith. So that's the thing that's just been seated in the back of my mind for months now. Is like, I think there's a chance we could see a Jeremiah Smith lawsuit come out this summer. So, or this winter. So that's kind of been growing back into my mind. But anything else here from LSU, Alabama?
Harold Perkins, I guess.
Yeah, if we want to talk about that. We've spent a lot of time talking about Harold Perkins. And all right.
I mean, honestly, like, you know, Deontay Lawson could have another bounce back game, but I'm not overly excited about like his upside or anything. So
no, me neither. I'm excited about both these centers in the defensive tackle matchups. I like Braylon Moore and I like Parker Brailsford. So I think Parker Brailsford against the Gooden kid is going to be a really fun matchup because Gooden is just twitched up and hyperactive, and that's the kind of defensive tackle that's going to put Brailsford skill set to good use. So I think that'll be really fun to watch. All right. I mean, Florida, Kentucky. I don't know if we even need to talk about that. That might be the last game we really need to spend some time on here. I mean, I say that like we blazed through that. We're sitting at 44 minutes here on recording on the podcast. So, anything else you want to add to the slate here, James, before we get out of here?
I don't think so.
All right. So James's bold predictions this weekend are David Bailey and Romello Height combined for 3 PFF sacks. And that AJ Halsey intercepts Ty Simpson on an inbreaker. That's a very detailed. I guess the Skylar Bell one for me is really detailed too. And then mine are Skylar Bell has 10 catches and 100 yards it goes 3 for 3 against P4 competition with 10 catches and 100 yards. And that all of Simpson, Mendoza, Moore go for 250 and 2+. So
wait,
that's what we're out for here.
It just has to be over 100 yards.
Yeah, 100. Okay, 100+. Yeah. So that's kind of what we're cooking up this weekend in terms of bold predictions. We're trying to make the bold predictions not like minimal or like, well, duh, like that's easy. So we're trying to get a little spicy with it.
I'm gonna start farming. I'm gonna start farming points and just like doing the easiest ones.
I love it. All right. Well, enjoy your weekend of college football here. We'll be back next week to break it all down for you. But this has been another week of the Daft on Draft podcast. Goodbye.